Right, if you'd just like to introduce yourself to our audience?
My name is Patrick Soderlund. I'm the SVP who runs the first-person shooter and driving games inside of EA. I do oversee mostly internal production, and we have obviously a part of EA that deals with our external partners. So EA Partners is a different division of EA who deals with our obviously our valued external partners like Crytek or Valve or Epic or any of those.
And so when you're dealing with a studio like Criterion, what would your tasks be? Are you just liaising between them and EA?
Yes, I would call it that. I mean, the way it works is every studio that reports into me have its own general manager. In Criterion's case, it's Fiona Sparrow, who's been there for a long time. Together with her and her team, I will obviously craft strategies for that particular studio and for our driving business as a whole. Okay. And then, but the local leaders are responsible to run their own business and manage their own studios. And then obviously it's about feedbacking on the games as we produce them and all that stuff. And then,
so how much influence do you have on the studios deciding to make the games that they make?
Well, ultimately they're going to have to get approved by me, and then I have to get them approved by my boss in order to actually proceed with production. So I have a lot to say, but it's not like they will come up to me and say, okay, we'd like to do that, yes or no. It's a very collaborative effort, and we will always come together and present to the bigger company and say, here's what we're doing. Can you please give us the blessing to do so? Okay.
Now, Criterion first joined up with EA, I think, was it Burnout 3 that they first joined up?
Yes.
And that was, shall we say, slightly problematic relationship between the two companies. Now, it's pretty much your job to make sure that doesn't happen again, I'm guessing. Now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Paradise was a really good product for us, which sold well for us. What's also remarkable was how Criterion managed to keep the product alive afterwards. You know, with all the content packs they did and with the store that they had, they did some truly innovative things there.
Yeah, I mean, they had a whole basic year of support, which is almost unprecedented for a game. And is that something that EA was keen to do and help them to do, or was it something that they were keen to do and got your assistance in doing?
That's exactly. I mean, they presented something to me that was actually called the Year of Paradise, and it was a plan that we looked at and said, okay, we don't know if this is going to work. It actually proved that they were right. It did work for us. And people that look at that plan, that look at what we did, feel like, how can they afford doing that? Is that really worthwhile? But the team was very smart in how they did things. We managed to do it in a cost-efficient way and still get a lot of content out there that really pushed that game forward. Okay.
Now, I interviewed Ian Angus recently from Criterion, and he said one of the things that they found very valuable from the Paradise side of things was the fact that they got to learn what gamers were playing, not what they thought they would play. And obviously that's fed into the design of Need for Speed and something. Is that something that was good for the rest of EA as well and good for the rest of the online games that you're doing?
I mean, a lot of the teams that I work with, DICE also being a heavily online connected kind of studio, we've learned a lot from being constantly online. I mean, the great thing about being online, per Ian's point, is that you can really find out what people are doing through telemetry, and you can ask questions and get proper answers from your fan base. Otherwise, it's kind of a guessing game. And with being connected and having people connected, we'll find the answer in there. Okay. And then it's just a matter of what do we do with that answer, or okay.
Also, you're part of Team Need for Speed, as they call it. Can you just talk a little bit about that and introduce that to the people?
Yeah, so quickly, what about 18 months ago, we looked at, when I took over Need for Speed, it was obvious that the franchise itself wasn't necessarily doing as well as we wanted to do. We unfortunately put out some products that we weren't too proud of, and we just sat down and said, we need to change the perception of where Need for Speed is going. We need to, I want Need for Speed to be a brand associated with high quality production values. You want it to be innovative, a very connected experience, and also a brand that feels alive and that appeals to the audience that are after Need for Speed products.
And was Shift the first example of that?
The first thing we did was, in order to secure quality and to also launch kind of a side genre, if you want to call it that, of Need for Speed, was Shift, and it was obviously developed in the UK by Slightly Mad Studios, great bunch of guys, and I was very deep into that game because of my passion for motorsport. So I was in the design of it. I was a big part of making that game. our mainland is obviously the action-oriented kind of adventure types of products like Hot Pursuit.
And I was going to say, with this one, you're taking it back to one of the originals. I think it was Need for Speed 3, the first Hot Pursuit. I think Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit.
Right. All kudos goes to Criterion. It was their idea. They wanted to kind of go back to the roots of what Need for Speed was. Alex Ward and Fiona and the team over there presented a plan and said, here's what we'd like to do. And it was a very easy pitch. I loved what they had to say. It was simple to understand, and it kind of fit with what Criterion are good at. Going back to Team Need for Speed and to kind of the overall Need for Speed strategy, what we did was obviously go back and said we need to change the way we develop these products. I want two major studios to work on a game on a kind of biannual basis, so that each team can get enough time to make a high quality experience. So the idea is for us to have our strategy is centered around having an action title every year at Christmas, and then obviously when the time is right, to come out with kind of a side bet in the authentic motorsport segment, which will be our Shift brand. So now, kind of a two-pronged attack. Was
there any danger both with Shift and with the new Hot Pursuit of... you've obviously got a very big brand in Need for Speed, and it pretty much hits Christmas #1 every year. Does that come with its own pressure as well, or does it make your life easier or more difficult, basically?
It makes it both easier and more difficult, because obviously, to your point, it comes with a lot of expectation. And, EA is a company that is, for our shareholders' sake and for the company's sake, we need to be making money. And, I just love the fact that we get to make games and still make money, which is kind of cool. But no, for sure. I mean, there's a pressure that comes with it, but there's also a lot of advantage. We have, pretty good production budgets. We have huge marketing spends. We get a lot of support from the company to push our titles, which is every developer's dream.
Which is, as a developer, is what you want, basically.
I'll take that pressure because of what I get. Okay. So to solidify our authentic motorsport kind of approach, having raced cars myself and still racing cars, I said it would be cool if we had something like Team Need for Speed, where I took Red Bull as an example, which obviously is huge in motorsport. We don't want to become Red Bull. We're everywhere. But I said I think it could make a point for us if we could get connected with drivers that can help feed into the products, because ultimately you want to make the best driving authentic experience in the Shift brand. And the way to do that is to have the people that can both make products, games, and still know what it feels like to race a car. It wasn't my intent to be a part of it at first, but then Rod Chong is there, who's kind of the manager who runs Team Need for Speed, and the marketing guys really wanted me to do it. Because it made sense for me to be a spokesperson for Shift, as well as, because I race. So, that's what...
You've got all the tools to do the job, basically.
And I wasn't stupid enough. Absolutely. I'll do that. It wasn't a problem. So I did it this year. We did the FIA GT3 Championship, and we did a couple of long-distance races. We did Nürburgring 24.
And I saw that one.
We've had great success, actually. We won a couple of races, and we've been, on the podium, and we managed to finish 4th in the Nürburgring 24, which is a respectable result. That's the European part of Team Need for Speed. We then have a US-based branch which is heavily involved into Formula D, which is the drifting circuit over in the US, which actually is slightly larger than what we do in Europe. But you'll see Team Need for Speed grow, and you'll see more drivers. You'll see us do more activation around Team Need for
Speed. Well, for those that aren't lucky enough to get on the tracks ourselves, and I've been on the track myself today, but for anyone else that can't do it, that just wants to get hold of the game, when can they get hold of the game?
Well, this particular game is shipping now in November in Europe. It's available on PS3, PS3, Xbox 360, and PC, and Wii. And I really recommend you guys buying it.
Brilliant. We certainly will. Thank you very much.
Thank you.